Hi, I'm Ken Howard, and welcome to the Gay Therapy LA podcast. Today, I would like to talk with you about tips for coping with jealousy in gay men's relationships. And this is a big topic. We might do more than one episode on this. Recently, someone emailed me a question, and I wanted to talk more about that based on their question. Here's what it was. What do you suggest to people when they constantly compare themselves to others or don't feel good enough, which leads to a fear of your partner leaving a romantic relationship? Competition seems to be ingrained in the male psyche, gay or straight. What do you advise? And here's what I said in a blog, and I'll say it again here and add some other stuff to it. I said, to this writer, and by the way, your email questions are always welcome. Your question is fairly complex because you mention your own feelings of not feeling good enough at the same time worrying about the feelings of your partner leaving, and at the same time as trying to have a relationship in a community context, the larger, broader LGBT in general and gay male community in particular. And I think that these are three different things, and here's why. When we don't feel good enough, we're really questioning our self-esteem, our self-concept, our own understanding of ourselves, and judging that. A lot of people have written about the inner critic. Other people talk about the internalization of negative messages from hypercritical parents, bad teachers, bad coaches, peer bullying, news pundits, and especially Republican politicians who, are trying to court the conservative religious, whether it's evangelical Christian or conservative Jews or just other socially conservative religions that are anti-gay or anti-LGBT. And the collective effect of, taking crap from your parents, from society, from the news, is that it can erode the natural, strong, positive sense of self. And then we have to have some kind of a defense about that by aligning and affirming aligning with gay affirmative experiences. A gay affirmative therapist, for example, our own gay peers, our national organizations that support gay rights authors. We really have to combat the negative messages that we receive throughout a lifetime of growing up LGBT, or else, the end result, which of course we see a lot, is either internalized homophobia or low self-esteem. But, I think a shaky self-esteem comes from buying into that criticism from our past. We've internalized the negative evaluations of other people, even if they weren't accurate, even if they don't know us. They're just labeling us as sick, bad, and wrong just by virtue of a gay identity when they don't even know the first thing about us. They don't know our name, our personality, our character, just nothing about that. So in therapy, we work on this so that we iron out the wrinkles of your self-esteem so that you're more comfortable and confident with yourself. Now, in terms of your partner's behavior, I always talk about relationships as having to have the 3 C's of commitment, communication, and compromise. Now, that first one, commitment, is about talking to your partner about what you each expect in the relationship. And part of that means doing things that make each other feel secure, and specifically not doing things that make each other feel unsafe or insecure. And these have to be discussed or even negotiated so that one partner does not control the other. This is a big dynamic that I work with, with gay male couples. I've been working with gay male couples in therapy for 27 years, and I see the same patterns over and over. And one of them is that, it's just kind of male privilege stuff. Men do not like being told what to do, period. But especially by other men. And that includes your partner or your spouse. And that's the thing, is that even though we love and have sex with our partners, we still are in competition with them on some animalistic level. And we're not, competing for the affections of the female of the species because we're gay. But there's still, some kind of male animal to male animal competition. And, straight men have this too. And it's not that women or straight or lesbian, don't have some of these issues, but I'm focusing on men here. And it's just part of men's psyche that in general we want to be left alone, or conversely, we do not want to be put upon or feel controlled by someone else. It's just part of a male ego thing. So that's why, we want to make a commitment and we want to do things to help our partners feel safe and secure and not necessarily provoke their jealousy. But at the same time, we don't want to capitulate all control to our partners. We might want to keep some privacy. In an open relationship, we might have affections or sexuality of our own that our partner kind of isn't a part of. We certainly have our careers or our work that our partners are not a part of. If you've ever had your partner or your spouse visit you at the office, it can be a weird juxtaposition sometimes of, whoa, my personal world is invading into my work world. And not a lot of guys like that. We'd like to have some autonomy, no matter how good our relationships are, no matter how much we love our partners, we still want some privacy. This is why I have a blog article on resisting the urge to snoop and, going through your partner's phone or going through your partner's emails. I always say anything that you can snoop about, you can speak about. That's about an insecurity in your relationship that needs to be talked about, not go into private investigator mode. So maybe more on that another time. But you gain trust in your partner when he makes a commitment to honoring your relationship by setting boundaries with others. Maybe you let him flirt a little with other guys, but he only has sex with you. Or maybe he's allowed to play sexually with other guys, but not in your home. Maybe only when he's out of town or vice versa. What those boundaries are is going to differ based on the couple and what their comfort levels are with different activities. And there are lots of different kinds of boundaries that are discussed in a consenting, non-monogamous, or an open relationship, even with 3-ways or 4-ways or kind of a gay swinging arrangement. There would still be a discussion of boundaries. So there's boundaries in every kind of gay relationship, whether you're very, very monogamous or very, very open. And there's kind of a spectrum that we find in relationships in reality. Having a relationship means making it work on those 4 levels: emotionally, physically, domestically, and a 4th domain that I call managing the other, which means managing how other people might intrude on your relationship, whether it's some obnoxious drunk twink who aggressively flirts with one or the other of you at a bar or a party, or someone not respecting the boundaries and rules of your relationship. And this can be true, even in open relationships. It could be an intrusive boss, a sibling, a parent, a roommate, or a neighbor who interrupts the peaceful conduct of your relationship. Couples have to help each other set limits and boundaries with others who intrude on the relationship and demand your time or your money or your attention, to the detriment of your relationship. So this is about settling into your relationship, and while not taking it for granted, it's also about having enough feelings of safety that no one has one foot out the door to leave the other one. There will always be people who are better looking, richer, funnier, more active, younger, more accomplished, etc. than our partners, but if we didn't have a sense of commitment, we would all be running around with, different partners every 10 seconds. And it could be that, commitment and safety and aspects of your relationship need some work, and, this is what I can help you with, either in couples therapy, if you're in California, or couples relationship coaching, if you're outside of California. This is what I do. Jealousy also has been talked about in terms of different psychological concepts. The biggest one is about fear of abandonment. And a fear of abandonment is kind of like a baby being left alone when he wants his bottle. He'll either scream and cry and basically say in baby cry language, "How dare you leave me? Don't you know who I am? You're supposed to give me my bottle." Or, which is called the abandonment rage. Or there's also the abandonment depression, where it's, oh, I don't have my bottle. I guess nobody loves me. I guess I'll just sit here and be miserable and alone for the rest of my life. You go do you. And, this kind of infantile abandonment rage or abandonment depression gets triggered long, long after in adulthood whenever we feel like we need something we're not getting. So, jealousy can be about the abandonment fear or the abandonment rage. We're getting angry at our partner for not being there for us in some way. Jealousy can also be a part of narcissism. I want all of your attention all the time. Don't you know who I am? I'm me. How dare you pay attention to someone else when I am in the world? Don't you know that I am the greatest thing who ever lived, and anyone who pays any attention to anyone other than me is just committing a crime, because the first rule of the world is pay attention to me and only me. It's that kind of narcissistic thinking. And, that has to be tamed somehow. Jealousy can get bad. It can get into even things like controlling and domestic violence and all of that, because the fear of abandonment and the abandonment rage gets so intense that it becomes pathological, where the person is desperate, up to and including violence, in order to prevent the person from leaving. If you've ever seen the classic movie Sunset Boulevard, one of the great gay cultural iconic films from 1950, Gloria Swanson plays the older washed-up actress who shoots her young hot lover when he tries to leave her for someone his own age. And that would be an example of, a pathological jealousy and abandonment rage. I would rather see you dead than with another woman. And, even though that looks melodramatic for, a 1950 film, how many of us have seen that with our partners if, we're drunk at a bar and then we do the wrong thing and then your partner goes off? I've heard so many stories about that happening, and we really have to look at what's really going on. I mean, in a case like that, I think somebody's disinhibited from alcohol, which is its own problem. But we also have to look at, what is that jealousy? What is going on when a partner snoops in your phone? It is, I think, that fear of abandonment and that jealousy that's coming up from the person struggling with whether they feel good enough to hold on to their own partner. So jealousy is a really complex thing, and maybe we'll do another episode of it, but I want to just, leave you with some considerations of that. And then looking at what the opposite is, how do we keep our partners from going off in a jealous rage? How do we negotiate what's okay? Because we might want to have lunch with a gay male friend, and that's not necessarily going to lead to leaving your partner or even to sex. And then what are the jealousy issues, even in open relationships? I see this a lot where, you might have negotiated a consensual, non-monogamous relationship, but there still might be boundaries or situations that create jealousy, or even kind of a FOMO, fear of missing out. That's also a thing, I think, in relationships is, you're having lunch with a gay male friend. I don't have any gay male friends to have lunch with. I work with, 60-year-old straight ladies. That can be a thing. So with jealousy, sometimes I think it's about affirming and just reinforcing the idea of, I love you, I am here from you. I may not pay attention to you every second. I might even have some flirtatious feelings or even sexual feelings for others, but I have made a decision in my life to make you my primary or even exclusive partner, and that's how I live. And then when two people say that, you have this strong attachment, a strong and secure attachment. Shrinks talk a lot about attachment theory. A secure attachment really is the opposite of jealousy. So if you're having jealousy problems in your relationship, it means that the idea of emotional safety or these fears of being left out need to be addressed and talked about. So, thanks for listening. If you need help with anything, gaytherapyla.com is one way to reach me. The other way is to call or text my cell, which is area code 310 310-339-5778. So 310-339-5778. You can also email me, ken@gaytherapyla.com. And I welcome your comments and your questions and suggestions for future episodes. And I also appreciate your rating the podcast or leaving comments and telling your friends, because we want to increase the audience of people who might benefit from a gay positive, gay specific podcast, and that's what this is. So thanks, and I'll see you next time. Bye.